Yes, we can go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and do the governor's order. So due to the governor's recent order, all members of the Recreation and Parks Commission are participating virtually. For virtual meetings, commission members will be muted until asked to be heard. At that time, they will be unmuted and then recognized, and they will state their name and then their vote. It'll be necessary to take a roll call vote, and the commission member will be recognized, raise their hand, state their vote. Today's meeting is a public meeting per the notice. Citizens can listen to the meeting. All they need to do is contact the city manager's office and make necessary arrangements. And the meeting will be live streamed on the city's YouTube channel, which can be accessed on the city website. And a preview of the meeting will be available by next Tuesday on the city's YouTube channel. So I'll go ahead and do roll call. As John stated, Kathy is not here. John Gunkel.
I'll get it here.
Okay. Tygo Guerra has recently resigned from the commission, so he will no longer be with us. We're very sad to see him go. Sean Hawkins.
I'm here.
Okay. John France. Okay. Bob Hartwell. Okay, and George Peterson is also not with us today. Joe Cassidy.
Here.
Okay. And Taylor Ansley.
I'm here.
Okay. Unfortunately, we do not have quorum today, so we won't be able to make a vote. We won't be able to approve the minutes. We can review them, and then we'll have to vote on them later on if we get more members present, or we can carry it over to the next meeting.
I say we just carry the approval over to the next meeting.
Yeah, that's what we can do. Do you guys want to review them, or do you want to just move into our updates?
Well, I can review the minutes real quickly. Basically, we approved to construct a Wake Forest building for the rowing club. It's a building like 28 by 66 long. And I think everybody was on board with that. We had a presentation from Josh Billings, who provided a demonstration of the new website that allows park locations. So that was kind of pretty good. And let's see, we had we had some updates on the curb appeal survey. I think maintenance is currently reviewing it, and they're going to prioritize that information for us. And we agreed that that survey would continue to be a tool to be used ongoing. And last, we had an update about the new assistant city manager. I think Johnny Taylor was appointed as Mrs. Logan Ford's replacement. So that's about it for the minutes.
Yep. Like I said, we can't vote to approve those, so we'll have to do that later. But we can discuss the amendment to the ordinance.
Yes.
And just as a side note, for the minutes, because at the next meeting, we'll be reviewing and approving 2 sets of minutes. If there are particular comments or things that you would like to have adjusted or changed from the previous month's minutes, you can forward those to either myself or Felicia to incorporate prior to the next meeting, which may cut down on the amount of time that it takes to approve 2 sets of meetings, especially if there are multiple corrections that need to be made.
Right. Okay. Do we have the lawyer is going to review these ordinance for roles and responsibilities? Or no, he's not on?
No, John Lawson is not with us today.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if you guys have read the changes to the amendments. I think we turned in some our thoughts on it, and I think he took all this and kind of meshed it together, and he made a number of changes. He got rid of a lot of the old logic that was there that wasn't really applicable today. And I'll just kind of read through the things that I saw, and you guys can make some comments. As far as we read that the director would, or his designee shall serve as the secretary. That was added because there was some issue about that, whether or not who was doing it. We vote on or recommend to the city council any acquisition, sale, or other disposition of property that would fall under the jurisdiction of the Rec and Park Department. So that's one of our duties. Vote and recommend the city council naming or renaming of any parks or recreational facilities. Vote on any changes to the code that are requested by the director. Make recommendation to the city council from time to time with respect to recreation programs, facilities, resources, and needs of the city. That to me sounds like a catch-all category for a lot of the things that we submitted. I think a lot of submissions were a little bit specific. I think the lawyer just made that more generic, just kind of include a pretty broad range there. At least that's the way I read it. Make recommendations or provide a report to the city council for actions it deems necessary to further the commission's powers and duties. And the last is perform such duties as required by the mayor or city council from time to time. So that kind of did it for that section. Then down below, they had the director of recreation now have general supervision, direction, and control over public recreation in areas of the city. That was underlined. And as far as reports, the Recreation Park Commission, he struck out shall and put may make annual report to the mayor and or city council, and shall make such other reports as requested by the mayor or the city council. I think those were the basic changes that were made. So is there any discussion on those?
I had one point, John, that I wanted to clarify just in case there were any thoughts about it. On number 3, it says vote on any changes to this code that are requested by the director of the Recreation Department. What that references are any ordinance changes or recommendations that people, that citizens are expected to follow in our park system. For instance, our opening and closing times for our parks, which are enforceable by the law, are from 6 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. After 10:30 p.m., if you're in one of our parks at a non-city sponsored event, you could be cited for trespassing. If I decided I wanted to make the recommendation to change that time from 10:30 to 12:30, I would have to bring that to the commission for approval before it went to city council. And so the majority of the things that you see on our park road signs, if not all of them, all directly relate to current city ordinances. And if any of those were to change, it will be something that we will bring to the Recreation and Parks Commission for approval before going to city council for full adoption. So
okay, well,
sure that was clear.
And where do you see that? I guess I'm not seeing that.
After the large, on page 1, actually on page 2, it's the second bulleted item on the page. It says vote on any changes to this code that are requested by the director of the Recreation Department.
All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's referencing, like, for instance, there was a state, the state law changed several years ago about how and where handguns can be held can be carried by persons in parks and kind of where they can and where they were not allowed to carry them. Those are things that have come from the state. But if I, say, for instance, wanted to include powered, something that's not currently covered under the ordinance as an illegal operable vehicle within our parks, I wanted to add that language to our ordinance. I would bring that to the commission.
Okay, well, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So as Felicia said, we can't, approve these, but, we have any other questions or feedback, I guess we can submit that.
I would like if maybe have the commission take some time to kind of go over these. I think these got sent out on Monday, but maybe take some time to kind of go over these. If there are any questions, either highlight you can highlight the document itself or provide those comments back to us in an email, and we can further discuss those and bring any future recommendations back to the commission, or when we have a quorum, bring those recommendations back and have a much broader discussion. Should we send those to you, William? I would send those straight to Felicia.
Yeah.
Okay, send them to Felicia. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If I may, John, I just had one quick comment, which is just that I think from a statute perspective, this makes total sense in terms of kind of defining the limits of what we're expected to do and clarifying some of the language, things like that. I have no issues with the changes here. I would say that it feels like maybe there's sort of a companion, whether it's a companion document or just kind of a guide for the commission that would help folks like me who recently joined the commission coming on board and kind of understanding more in a more sort of proactive sense what is expected of us in terms of, soliciting input from citizens around the community, or, sort of fleshing out some details maybe on some of these things that don't have to be put into the statute, don't have to be codified on the city level that way, but just can be kind of an operating document that says essentially, and as a commission, the way we understand our responsibility is we're going to try to do these things, which will lead to these, non-binding recommendations to the Parks Department, to the City Council, et cetera. So we might want to kind of consider building that out over time.
Yeah, I think, we as a group can develop that. Maybe we can, have 2 or 3 people basically jot those things down and we can discuss that. And we can just kind of update it as we go along every time we have changeovers and things like that. So that sounds like a good idea. Does anybody want to volunteer to take a stab at it?
I guess I'm the one who opened my mouth in first place, so
Yeah.
So I can sort of take that on a little bit. We can that can be an evolving discussion. I just feel like I think these updates make total sense from a formal standpoint, and then we can have sort of an additional layer that we just kind of operate on as a commission and just kind of guides our activities a little bit.
Yeah, that would be helpful, especially for new members. Yes, absolutely. I think so. But that's something we can do internally.
I agree with Taylor. This is helpful to have this clarity. It would also be helpful to have some more information. And I would say that's not only limited to new members. As I'm reading through this document, the 2 bullet points below where William was mentioning on 4 and 5, both say make recommendations to City Council. It doesn't elaborate about how the commission makes recommendations to City Council. So it would need, it would need some clarity about, okay, if these are the expectations for commission members, how do we go about doing these different things?
Yeah, we can make that part of it. But I think, for example, in the past, we developed a recommendation on the bike and pedestrian establishment of a commission. We did that via memo, as I remember, to the City Council. So that's one way, that we've done it.
Typically, when we can kind of spell some of these things out in further detail in a manner that Taylor mentioned earlier, but typically those recommendations can come from the commission in the form of a memo. Those recommendations at that point, if you were wanting to make some recommendations to council, the mayor, or the city manager's office, like our department would serve as a liaison to kind of facilitate that and make that happen based on whatever processes the city already has in place to handle those things. So if it's a council related item, there are certain ways that we handle that. There are things that administratively go to the city manager's office. There are ways to handle that, but we would serve as a liaison between the commission and whatever set body to kind of try to make that happen for you.
Okay, thank you. A question on, again, top of page 2, item number 4, just again below where William was talking on item 3. Is it understood that staff are considered a resource here, or does staff need to be articulated as an addition to that? So if the commission felt that the department was understaffed and wanted to recommend to the city additional staff, does 4 as written give us the latitude to do that, or does staff need to be added in as to make that clear?
Resources would include financial support, staff support, materials. It would cover all of those. It would cover staff as well.
Okay.
Hey, William, I got a question. I mean, one of the things that was outlined in Kathy's set of things that we wanted to have done to this is basically have some input on priorities or maybe the longer range plan or something. I mean, obviously it's just a recommendation, but I mean, I kind of see that as fitting in for myself. I don't know if you guys do.
You mean in terms of being able to approve master plans or
yeah, I mean, that would be part of it, right? Right, yeah, like, you know, we'd recommend approval of this master plan, or, you know, in the past, we've made suggestions and you guys have listened and sometimes have made some changes, sometimes not, based upon, you know, what your needs are. So I just, in my interpretation of that would include that kind of input.
Yeah, on item 4, I think that will be covered under there as well, because if there are any sort of park improvements that could be covered under facilities, if there were,
right, yeah.
You know, it also could be covered under resources as well, because when you add facilities, we should be adding resources to support them. Right. So that I think that one would cover that as well. And we typically have, I mean, anytime there's park development, I think we've been pretty consistent about trying to make sure that you guys have seen those plans, seen those drawings.
Right.
We've had an opportunity to kind of get some of that feedback and make adjustments when necessary. So we will continue to do that. This just kind of formalizes that.
Right, yeah, no. I mean, I understand the way the lawyer kind of put this together. I mean, he didn't want to make it so specific. He made it general enough that it's very flexible and it basically has some staying power over the years, I think. So that made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
All right.
It would be, I think it at least would be clearer on 4 and 5 if it's stipulated that recommendations can be made to the Recreation and Parks Department and City Council. As it's written right now, it only gives us the latitude to go directly to the City Council.
So adding, like, instead of saying make recommendations or provide a report, make recommendations to the department or provide a report to the City Council for actions it deems necessary.
Basically, for both 4 and 5 to be able to make recommendations to the Recreation and Parks Department and or City Council.
Okay. We can look at that. Let me talk to John about that.
Okay.
It may need to be, I think the intentions of 5 are more related to the commission's ability to request additional authority on certain items within the department. I think what you're, if I'm wrong, Joe, that I think that what you're asking is for the commission to be able to make recommendations to the department in terms of programs, facilities, some of the same things that are mentioned in item number
4.
4. Yes.
Yeah, see in 4, it says we can make recommendations to city council, but it looks like on this, we can't make recommendations to you or your staff.
Let me talk to John about that point. If you could send that, kind of send that to me,
Okay.
send that to us in an email. We'll have John to take a look at that and if he feels that's covered under another area, or if we need to include a separate item for that as well.
Okay, will do.
Okay, is that it for the roles and responsibilities? Anybody have anything else on that? If not, I guess we'll roll into the departmental updates.
I know that we've had some pretty lengthy meetings discussing, spend some time discussing several topics that have been high on the commission's priority list. And I think that Leah and Renata, Steve and Greg have some pretty interesting updates to share with you, some very successful programs. We did host an NCRPA conference last week that took a tremendous amount of staff time and resources to manage. It's a large undertaking for any municipality, regardless of their size. But now I'd like to turn it over to Leah Fran to kind of go over some of the updates within her respective area.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. There we go. So do have a couple great programs coming up in the next couple weeks. We got as you guys can see right there, the Thanksgiving Drive-In Bingo at Bolton Park. This one is a program that we started last year with COVID when we couldn't do social gathering. So had great success with it last year, going to bring it back this year. That's going to be on Saturday, November 13th at 2 p.m. We are also working with the school system. The school system has elected not to have class or in session on November 12th, the day after Veterans Day. So we're working with the school system to make sure that we're providing some out-of-school childcare. So we play day camp drop-ins at Sedge Garden and Miller Park. We also have, Felicia, slow down a little bit. Go back to the Moravian Market. So if you guys are looking to come out, would like to purchase some holiday gifts, we are starting our holiday season over at Cricket's Nest. We will have the Moravian Market Days. That will be this Friday and Saturday. A lot of good handmade gifts will be displayed if you guys are looking to come out. And then we also have one more event. If you'll scroll down to Clue in the Park. So Clue in the Park is a passive recreation activity where people will be able to go to certain parks, look for clues, and the object is to see who has stolen our turkey, Tom. So the fun thing about this is we're bringing citizens out to different parks that typically they would not go out to. So, we try to pick some of our not as popular locations: Piney Grove, Happy Hill, Little Creek, and Hobby Park. And then we recently,
sorry, Leah, go ahead.
I'm going to say we recently had on October 23rd, we had our Trail of Treats. So Trail of Treats is at Bolton, and we had 20 plus vendors that would line the trail at the park. With this event, in years past, we would have like 40 vendors. A whole lot of people would come out. This was kind of our opening special event back into, the pandemic, the first real gathering that we could have. Happy to say that we had over 20 vendors at this event with over 1,700 people in attendance.
Yeah, and it was, we've looked at some of our participation numbers, like pre and during and COVID, and they dropped off tremendously. And I think that Leah hit the nail on the head when she was, this is one of those events that was a departmental wide event where we really saw participation. We saw the numbers coming back, and the marketing efforts and the way that it was managed. The vendors were there. Everyone had a great time. hats off to her staff for pulling that off. But it's just one of many things that we'll continue to do as we move forward, trying to get back to some sort of normalcy as we're navigating our way through COVID. Good job, Leah.
Great, thank you guys.
I believe the commission requested that Renata provide an update on information on the relationship that we have with Whiting Turner with Partners for Parks. So I would like to turn it over to Renata Owens to kind of go through a few slides to kind of give you an update on where we are with working with Whiting Turner and improving our park system, making some improvements in our park system. Renata.
Okay. Good afternoon. Just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of what we're doing here and our partners in the park. I know as the commission, you all have went out and you have went to several of our parks and actually done assessments. And currently just want to let you know, I am reviewing the information that was submitted, and I am compiling the information into a document similar to what you see on the screen for partners in the park. Back in 2020, Whiting Turner reached out to Recreation and Parks, and during the pandemic wanted to find a way of how to give back. So we had several meetings with them, and when we sat down with them, we had identified some parks based on our deferred maintenance that we could work and partner together. So I've prepared for you a short little presentation in regards to the 8 parks that were identified with partnering with them and some of the actual things that we will be doing in those parks. As you can see, like based on Rupert Bell, a lot of things we went out, we assessed, they assessed. These are some of the things that they had picked up on as far as pressure washing the equipment. The basketball courts needed restriping, a lot of mulching, landscaping, new trash cans. One of the things that was there was an alternate, which they took a look at the baseball fields and the dugouts, but as we explained to them, those were not our properties. But this is just giving you, based upon when we did an assessment, what needs to happen at these parks, coupled with what was identified when we done our deferred maintenance report. So this is similar to what I intend to do with the information that you are submitting to us. So I will take the parks that you have been to, take the data that you have submitted to us, compare and also look at our deferred maintenance and come up with an all-inclusive plan so that when we go into the park that we actually address a lot of the issues, a lot of the concerns that are there that we can do as a group, not so much with Whiting, but also just with our staff. So if you like, we can go through and you can take a look at the parks that we have identified. So another one is Bon Air, and you can see the different things that we have done out there or we're going to do. Again, pressure washing. This particular sites, we need to go out and put in some new grills. We will do site lining, which is going in, limbing up trees, bushes, things of that nature. We will check the lighting for the shelter if it needs basically new lighting up under, if we need to come in with new photo cells, things of that nature. And then the alternates are basically projects that will require more detailed work and probably more specialty work.
Renata, a quick question. Who is Whiting Turner?
Whiting Turner is a construction company. They're housed here in Winston-Salem, but they have major offices all over the United States. Basically, they work a lot out of Raleigh in their main office, but they have stationed here. Whiting Turner, I think, was also one of the major construction groups in the new building of, a lot of the things going in downtown and working with the county. So okay. They are a major player in construction. And so they were just coming into Winston-Salem and they wanted to come in and see what can we do to contribute and give back.
All right, great, thanks.
So a couple other the parks that we have Bowen Boulevard. Bowen Boulevard, we as recreation staff, we have been doing a lot of things there. So this particular park here, a lot of these things have already been completed. We have pressure washed the bridges, the restrooms, things of that nature. We have went out there and done tremendous landscaping, mulching. We've installed pipe, drainage. We've repaired park benches. We've also put in new picnic tables. We have restriped the lot and included basically new wheel stops and bollards. So a lot of those things, asphalt the path, we've actually went in, put in new material. We've done that. And currently what is on the schedule for Bowen Boulevard is on the walking trail toward the back, there is a culvert. So we are under contract right now looking to kick off, I'll say by the 15th, in replacing the culvert on that backside of that park. So a lot of those amenities will be completed for Bowen Boulevard, which was a lot of things that were identified also as deferred maintenance. Crystal Towers, we have already partnered with Whiting Turner, and up on that, we have done massive pressure washing of the equipment. We have replaced trash cans, benches. They've repaired tables. We've repaired drinking fountains. We've also went in and there is what we call court repairs, but based upon some changes, and we looked into, we have installed pickleball courts up there. So there is 2 new pickleball courts up there that are fenced there at that particular location. We've come in with mulching. We've done some stone repair, and we're looking into some paver repairs. So we have worked that project with Crystal Towers with Whiting Turner. So these are kind of the amenities and kind of the work that we're doing when we go into the park. So Forest Park is on our list. That's a list of the things that we're looking at going into Forest Park, South Park. Felicia, you can keep going. Ardmore and Whitaker Park. So a sample of this presentation is what I intend to take with your information and compare it with that and come back to you guys with based on the information that I have. And this is what we intend to go into that park and do and clear up some deferred maintenance that is there. Any questions and comments?
Thank you. This is great.
Okay. So if not, basically, next meeting, I should have something similar for the parks that you have visited and give you an outline of some of the things that we have actually came back and what we present and what we will schedule to have done at those particular parks.
Yeah, Renata and her staff, I mean, hats off to them. If you look at the totality of what they're responsible for throughout our park system, they're doing one magnificent job given the resources that they have available. I think that, the relationship, we were blessed in a way that Whiting Turner came to us, but, we hope that if we talk about it enough and celebrate it enough, there maybe some other local companies will come to us with the same type of enthusiasm and support for our park system. But Whiting Turner is a very, very large construction company. They have offices in several cities all over the U.S. So great job to Renata and her team for taking the lead on this and making these repairs. And if you guys haven't seen Crystal Towers, which is very, very close to being complete, seeing the before and after, it's like night and day, and the residents and the people that use that facility have noticed. And it's just one of many parks that we'll be working with them to kind of make some upgrades, make some upgrades on it. So we're happy to be a partner with them. Great job, Renata.
Thank you, Renata.
Thank you.
I have a question from Joe asking how are we recognizing Whiting Turner for the contributions? Go ahead, Renata.
Go ahead, William, I'm fine.
Anytime anyone provides any sort of resources or support for our department, we do take the time to recognize them. We do send them thank you letters. And we do make sure that whenever we're in public settings such as this, whenever we're talking in front of city council about those particular projects that we're mentioning them. And what's interesting about them, though, is that they don't want the spotlight. The Whiting Turner doesn't want to be kind of standing there in front of council saying, hey, this is what we're doing. They kind of want to they've been very different in that regard. And Renata, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we have even invited them to one of the council's committee meetings, and they did not want to come. They just wanted us to kind of talk about the relationship and how things were going, and they kind of just want to kind of stay in the background and kind of do their thing. So, but we do recognize anyone that provides any kind of resources or donates anything to the department to help us.
Great.
William, would it be appropriate for us as a commission to pass a resolution or draft a letter or something so that Kathy could send to the appropriate individual at Whiting Turner so that we as citizens of the city could thank them and recognize them? But, you know, at least they would know that it's appreciated just beyond the city.
Yeah, we would support that wholeheartedly. I think it's a great idea.
Okay. Renata, could you share these slides with me so I can connect with Kathy since she's not with us today?
Yeah,
Yes,
I'll
sir.
send them out to you guys.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have Greg James, who is our special facilities superintendent. Greg provides oversight over Salem Lake, Historic Dabra, athletics falls under him, and his leadership. So we're going to give Greg an opportunity to talk about some of the things that he's doing in his respective area as well. Greg?
Thank you, William. Good afternoon, everybody. You might have seen last month we embarked on our kayak the quarry over at Grand Park. If you've ever been to the quarry and you stood on top of the bridge, as I have, and looked down the water and thought, I wonder what it's like to be down there. It was a great opportunity. We had 65 places open for people. I'm happy to say it filled up very quickly. Number of people coming from out of town. If we wanted to, we could have perhaps provided another program because it was so popular, but we are going to look to do that next year, do it twice a year. One will mark the beginning of our kayak rental season and one will mark the close of it. So really happy with the turnout of the program. On Saturday, we did our boot at Historic Dabra. It was a ghost tour that went up the hill into the trail, into the graveyard, and a storyteller came on site. Really engaging, really nice Halloween events. Around about 200 people join us for that. Historic Dabra has really added a lot of dimension to their program and their site. So if you are available, definitely do go and check out some of the history that we're telling over there, some of the exhibits we have coming up as well. On the 6th of November, we're going to be doing a holiday food drive. Going to be partnering with Leah and her team, looking for canned foods, toiletries, everything that we have, we pass on to Second Harvest. Really important, especially at the moment with a lot of people struggling with COVID and some other things. They're particularly interested in toiletries. So if you have any interest in helping with that, we'll be out there on Saturday. Salem Lake, Keynes Hosiery, Polo Park, Anderson Center, and Miller Park as well. On the 9th of October, we're going to be doing our youth track and fields. It's down at Happy Hill, brand new track. Really excited to be out there. That program is sold out right now. Do have several kids on the waiting list, so probably looking to provide a second program with that as well. Have a toddlers program beginning at Salem Lake called Nature Kids. It's on the 9th of October. It's a free program, 5 and below. Really lack a free toddler program in the city, so we're really happy to provide that. Also have a lake scavenger hunt coming up at the lake in November. Working on putting those clues together a little bit like Leah's team's program over there at Holly Park. And then two final things. Have a holiday pickleball tournament on the 23rd, age 50 plus, over at Granville Park. Second year we've done that. Pickleball is a hugely popular sport in the city and across the country. So we're looking to do some programs ahead going forward with that. And then finally, we have our Moravian Star workshops, Historic Dabra in October, November, and December as well. So for those of you who are crafty and would like to make something, that might be a potential opportunity for you. But thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, does that conclude the agenda? William, does that conclude your departmental updates?
Yes, I'm sorry, my mic was muted. That concludes our departmental updates. Do have someone that we have someone that has been selected to serve in a new role in our department. So I would like to take a minute to introduce her. She's on the call today. Many of you, because we've been meeting remotely, may not know Laura. Many of you, you guys remember Emerald Bowman and the role in which she served in the department when she was here?
Yeah.
Well, Emerald is no longer with us. She left several months ago. We did go through a search for a replacement for Emerald. Happy to announce that Laura Tanney, she's on the call today, will be serving in the capacity in which Emerald was before, which is the Senior Special Projects Coordinator. A lot of our departmental-wide special events and a lot of community outreach, looking for sponsors, kind of getting our department's name out there in terms of some of the programs and facilities that we have to offer are going to fall under her jurisdiction. She'll be reporting directly to Steve Younts. And we're happy to have Laura serving in this new capacity. She's been with us for, Felicia, what?
March 2020.
March 2020. And she's on the call today. So I'd like to, since her mic is off, give Laura an opportunity to introduce herself to you all and welcome her to her new role.
Thanks, William. Had I known you were going to do this, I would have made myself look nice. I would have turned my camera on. I'm working from home today. That's why my camera is off. But yeah, hi everyone. Like William said, I've been with the department since March 2020. I started as an accounting technician, and then once Emerald left, I filled in the void that she left behind to try and, like I said, just fill in, be there to be available for corporate partners, media requests, help with event planning, that sort of stuff.
She's also one of the biggest tricksters that we have in our department.
I don't know, that belongs to Josh.
But she's been just been a godsend to us in the department. She has a lot of energy. She has a lot of insight. And we're looking forward to her doing some great things for us in the department and doing some things to make you guys proud. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Vice Chair, that is all that we have on the departmental side. Are there any questions or any issues that the commission would like to go over and discuss with me or my staff?
I don't have any, but I would like to review the follow-up items before we adjourn, at least what I kind of jotted down. I think it was Joe that was going to volunteer to send a draft a letter or something to Whiting Turner or to thank our partners in helping out the city. And on the roles and responsibilities, I think we were going to send any changes or suggestions to Felicia, then we'll follow up on the next meeting. Taylor basically volunteered or got volunteered to come up with a commission member, I guess, handbook to start with. And Taylor, I was just thinking about that. Maybe the first thing we might want to do is just come up with a list of questions that commission members, need to know or would like to know.
Yeah, I think that's a good starting point. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we come up with a list of questions. We're kind of review those next time. So.
Sounds good.
Right.
Taylor, I'm happy to help with that too as well. We can work together with that.
Perfect.
And I think that was all the follow-up items I had. Does anybody have any others that I missed? Okay. Well, I guess we can adjourn the meeting now, and I want to thank everybody. Special thanks to William and his team for doing this for us, and everybody else for contributing. So have a great day.
All right, thank you all. You have a great
Thanks, everyone.
As well.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.